Hi, I'm Judy Litt. Today I have a 60-minute Yin Yoga practice for you, and it's all about hips and glutes. And in my mind I hear hips and glutes because I watched a chorus line recently. We are going to start with a short meditation, and then we will move right into the poses. Yin Yoga holds poses for a longer amount of time, anywhere from 90 seconds to 5-10 minutes. Generally, I don't go much beyond 5 for these classes. And for our mudra, we're going to use Kali mudra because the intention of this practice is the Yama Satya. And Satya can be translated as truth. And so one of the intentions is to think about, to consider, what is your personal truth for this practice, in your life, about your body? And don't worry, we're going to do a lot of work on our hips and glutes as well. So to come into Kali Mudra, take a comfortable seat. Oh, and as far as props go, props are optional for this practice. You might want a bolster, a couple of blocks. I'm sitting on a block right now, maybe a strap. Okay. Go get that, come back, and let's get into a short meditation. Take the palms of your hands together, interlace all your fingers except for your index fingers. Take your right thumb on top of your left, so you've got your little church with a little steeple, basically, if you're familiar with that. And then just bring them to your heart center. And the index fingers are pointing up towards your throat. And maybe close your eyes down if that's comfortable for you. Allowing your breath to deepen. Breathing in and out through the nose. Kali is considered the destroyer goddess. And sometimes you have to destroy things to create your truth. Maybe you need to destroy some of the stories you've been telling yourself. And this mudra also works on Vishuddha, our throat chakra, which is another area where we speak our truth. And physically on the body, this mudra also helps to heal the thyroid gland. About a minute and a half left. Just noticing any thoughts that arise. Noticing what your truth is, your truth about meditation maybe. Maybe you think, I'm not good at it, I can't do it, I can't stop thinking. And consider, is that really the truth? Relax your face. Breathe into any tension you're holding in your shoulders, in your upper back, maybe in your stomach or your hips. And then just let that go. And slowly, whatever you're sitting up on, if you are sitting up on something, go ahead and remove that and set that over to the side. Come to face the long end of your mat. Soles of the feet are on the mat. Slowly come down to your elbows and then all the way down. Stretch your legs out. Inhale. Take your right leg, bend the right knee out towards the side of the mat. Go ahead and grab your foot and just be. One of the principles of Yin Yoga is being in these poses in stillness, but I invite you, if it feels right to you, if it's your truth, to just move your leg back and forth a little bit. Sometimes we feel we need to move a little bit after we've been holding a pose for a while. And then take your foot up towards the ceiling. Knee is still bent, but it's bent down towards your shoulder. Foot is flexed. This is an area where maybe it's your truth that you need a strap. Perhaps you need to put a strap around the foot and hold on. You can always bend your other leg to make this pose feel a little more easeful in your body, or it can be straight along the mat. Half happy baby. So what is your truth? Are you a happy baby in this pose, or is it a struggle for you? And is that the truth, or is it a story that you're telling yourself? Go ahead and release that foot. Stretch your right leg straight along your mat. And go ahead and bend the left knee out towards the side of the mat, grabbing a hold of that left foot, holding on at the knee, and just be and see what comes up for you. Go ahead and switch your holds to the other hand. Take that flex foot to point up towards the ceiling. Knee is bent and pointing towards that shoulder. And your right leg is stretched out on the mat or bent knee with the sole of the foot on the mat. Half happy baby. Maybe your truth is this feels better to you when you close your eyes. Perhaps the truth is that you feel more comfortable when your eyes are slightly open. Neither is right or wrong. It's your truth. That's what we're searching for. Go ahead and release that foot. Bring the sole of your left foot to the mat. And then take the sole of the right foot to the mat. And just gently roll over to one side and slowly begin to prop yourself upright. Soles of the feet are on the mat. You're going to take your right foot and take that over the left thigh, a little bit below the knee. Foot can be relaxed. The hands are behind you. And see where it feels right in your body to be. Do you want to be further away from your legs? Do you want to be closer to your legs? Where do you feel the right amount of sensation for you? What is your body saying to yourself? And this is seated swan. Swan, if you're familiar with pigeon, swan is the name in Yin Yoga for pigeon. Seated swan gives you pretty much all the benefits of regular swan, but it's a little kinder to your knees. And that's another truth to think about. How do some of the poses I do, how do they feel in my body? Do they feel like they're hurting my body, even though maybe the instructor says it's a great pose and it's good for you? Or do they really feel great? Come back to your Satya. And maybe you want your hands pointing towards your body. I was feeling a little tingling in my palms and my lower arms, and that is not something you want to feel, actually, so that's why I changed the direction that my hands were pointing, and I'm not feeling that tingling right now. So it's all about your body, your truth. And if it does get too much for you, if you find that this pose is too much, you can come on down to your elbows too. And of course, you can always lay back and do it in a reclined version as well. It's all good. Find your truth. And go ahead and take the top leg off. And let's just stretch our legs out for a minute and take our hands together and roll our wrists out, because that was a little bit of time on our wrists. It can be good to pause in between poses just to see what has arisen for you, and it could be good to just move a little bit and get any stagnant energy out. And go ahead and whichever pose felt right in your body, come back into that, because of course we have to take second side. Take your left foot over your right thigh, a little bit below the knee. Left knee is pointing out towards the left side of the room. And the foot can be doing whatever feels right in your body. Remember, in Yin Yoga, one of our principles is we're not trying for muscular tension. Now, of course, your arms here are going to have some tension because you are holding your body up. But we're not trying to force the pose. We're not trying to contract muscles. And that's why it's a good idea to practice Yin Yoga in the morning, as I actually am, as I'm taping this particular video, which I don't normally do, but my husband is not here right now. Maybe your truth is, in some of these poses, perhaps you'd like to stay a little longer. Feel free to pause the video and stay in whatever pose speaks to you. When I do my own practice, sometimes I hold poses longer, but I know people who are not used to holding poses for a long time can really struggle with that. Go ahead and take that left leg off. Stretch your legs out in front of you once again. And go ahead and roll those wrists out again. This is the last time our wrists are going to be taking a beating in this practice. And again, is that a story I'm telling myself? Maybe I should be saying to myself, I'm strengthening my wrists by doing this. Okay, let that go. I invite you to continue to face the short end of your mat and bend your right leg so that it's parallel. See if I can do this. So it's parallel to the short end of the mat. I can. And then bend your left leg so that it is also parallel to the short end of your mat. This is deer pose. So the left calf is coming out at a 90-degree angle. It's perpendicular to your left thigh. And the left foot is, both feet actually, are just lightly flexed. You're not cranking them. This is deer pose. And it's a really great pose for our hips, because not only do we get internal a little bit of internal hip rotation, we also get external hip rotation. But notice what you're saying to yourself in this pose. Is this challenging for you? Maybe your hips are not quite as open as mine, and maybe you find yours looks a bit more like this. And if that's the case, I invite you to take a block or perhaps a towel and place it underneath your knee so that your knee can relax into the towel and you're not holding muscular tension. Take your left leg, your back leg, bring it forward, keep the front leg exactly where it is. Go ahead and bring that left ankle so that it's just a little bit off the knee. And the left knee is over the right ankle. And this is square pose. It is another good hip opener. If you find, again, that your knee is like this and that there's a big gap between legs, take something, a blanket, a towel, a block, go ahead and put it in between so that your knee can just relax and you can sit in this pose comfortably and you can get all the benefits of this pose. What are you saying to yourself in this practice, in this pose, in these holds? And is it your Satya? Is it your truth? Go ahead and take that top leg off. Take the sole of your left foot to the mat, and then take the sole of your right foot to the mat and walk your feet out as wide as your mat, and go ahead and let those knees fall in together. Or perhaps you'd like to windshield wiper your hips, in which case you have your feet together and you let the knees fall to one side, then bring them up and they fall to the other side. Just a little movement before we go into the second side on those poses. Getting rid of any stagnant energy we may have built up by our long poses. Okay. You're going to take your left leg and have your shin parallel to the short end of your mat. And then your right leg behind you, the thigh is parallel to the short end of the mat. And the calf is coming out perpendicular to that thigh on your right leg. And you are in deer pose. And even though we are letting our muscles relax, noticing where you may be holding tension, maybe it's in that back thigh, trying to relax that muscle, sending your breath to that muscle. But at the same time, we're also trying to keep our spine as straight as we can. And just something to think about. And go ahead and take the back leg, your right leg, and bring it forward. Sole comes to meet the mat. And then bend that leg so that your right foot is coming just below the left knee. And your right knee is above the left foot. And this is square pose. And I want you to think in this pose again about the stories you're telling yourself, whether or not they are actually true. Maybe you're telling yourself right now, oh my God, how does she do that? I'll never be that flexible. And what is your truth? Have you been practicing Yin Yoga for any length of time? Have you been practicing yoga for any length of time? How often do you practice yoga? I've been practicing for many years. I've been practicing Yin Yoga in particular for a couple of years now. And one of the benefits of Yin Yoga is to help you become more, I like to call it mobile rather than flexible, because when people think of flexible, they're often thinking about gymnasts, that kind of flexibility. No one needs that. It's not going to serve you in everyday life, but we do need to be mobile. We do need to move easily through a good range of motion. And that is one of the benefits that you will get from Yin Yoga with practice over time, or from yoga in general. And another truth is to notice how you feel after the pose. Notice if there's been any opening, any more spaciousness and ease in your body. You may not feel like that while you're in the pose, but afterwards you may feel that, and perhaps the next day. Okay, go ahead and take the top leg, take that foot to the mat, and then the other foot to the mat. And remember, you can take your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees come in, or you can go ahead and bring both soles of your feet to the mat and let your knees fall over to one side. I mean, not, letting them crash over, but just gently moving from side to side. Just bringing a little bit of blood back to those areas where we've been so still for so long. Then go ahead and stretch both legs in front of you. And start with a nice straight spine. Maybe your truth is that your hamstrings are really tight and it feels better for you to have something under your knees or just your knees slightly bent. And that's fine. And perhaps you want to sit up on a block or a bolster. That may make this pose be more easeful for you. And that isn't wrong. It's not wrong or right. It's your truth. Okay. And now just bring your hands to your outside of your thighs, either side of your thighs. I like to have my palms up. Relax your shoulder, and then let your head be really, really heavy. Just let it hang down, not forcing it, just letting it hang. And we're going to be in this pose, caterpillar, for approximately 5 minutes. I'd like you to pay attention to your heartbeats. Just withdraw inside. And also notice anything that comes up for you, any stories, any feelings, any emotions. Taking that first minute to get into the pose, and then just trying to relax into it. Never muscling your way into the pose, just letting it be, letting time and gravity work its magic. Go ahead and take the palms of your hands to the mat if they're not already there. Walk them back to your hips. Slowly bring your head back up. Take the soles of your feet to your mat. Maybe scooch a little forward. We're going to be laying down on our mat. Take your right leg and cross it over your left. This is another pose where you might need a strap. Reach down for your right foot and then reach down for your left foot. Knees come towards the chest. And you're holding on to both feet. The feet are pointing towards either side of your mat or the room. And this is shoelace pose, reclined shoelace pose. And this is another great pose for your hips. You may feel it a bit in your glutes. You may feel it a little bit down your IT band as well. Not trying to yank the feet away from each other, just gentle pressure on the ankles there. And again, seeing where you can soften into this pose, trying to let go of any tension it may be causing. And put a smile on your face. Go ahead and let go of both ankles. Take the soles of the feet back to the mat and just pause. Again, notice what's come up for you. And then take your left leg and cross the left knee over the right. Reach down and grab hold of that left ankle or the shin. Whatever is right in your body, then reach down for the right ankle. And let those knees yearn towards your chest. Noticing the physical sensations that arise. Perhaps the emotional sensations that arise. And trying to relax at the same time. And go ahead and lift your top leg off of the bottom leg. Bring the soles of both feet to your mat. Knees are pointing towards the ceiling. Arms are stretched down by your thighs. And go ahead and stretch one leg long on your mat, and then the other, letting the feet fall out to other side, perhaps keeping the palms down, perhaps taking palms up. This has been a very grounding practice, so keeping the hands down, if that feels good to you. That's another way to practice grounding. My truth is it feels better with my palms up. Savasana. And also grab any props you may need. Perhaps a bolster to put under your knees. Prop them up a little bit to make that feel more easeful. And maybe you need a blanket over your body because when we're very still, temperature drops, we get cool. I'm going to sit up, but you are here for approximately another 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less, as I am holding space for you. And don't worry, I will mind the time for you. And as you are relaxing in Savasana, if you are relaxing in Savasana, I know some people find being still very challenging. Some people enjoy Yin despite the long holds, but then they get to Savasana and they're like, okay, I am ready to go. I have places to be and things to do. But I want you again to return to Satya, your personal truth. Is the truth that you really have things to do that must be done right this very minute? Is the truth that you feel good when you rush away from your mat, that calm, peaceful feeling you get after a great practice? Does that stay with you if you just bounce right up and go on to the next thing? Perhaps the truth is you need to explore Savasana and you need to see what you are telling yourself that makes it so difficult to be still. What is your personal truth? So please try to relax in Savasana as you let this practice just integrate into your body until you hear my voice again. Still keeping your eyes closed, continuing to relax in Savasana. Go ahead and soften your forehead. Let your eyes soften. Relax your jaw and your throat. Let go of any tension you're holding in your shoulders and your back. Relax your stomach, your hips, the whole pelvis. Be very heavy and supported by your mat and the earth. Relax your thighs, your calves, your arms, your hands, your ankles, your feet, your fingers, and your toes. Allow your breath to naturally deepen now. Still keeping your eyes closed if they're closed. Taking a few breaths in and out through your nose. Beginning to circle your wrists, or rather move your fingers and your toes. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bringing movement back into our body, bringing ourselves back into our body. And to gently circle your wrist and your ankles in one direction, and then the other. Stretching your arms long over your head and your feet away from your arms. Feeling that stretch in your whole body. Wiggling anything that needs to be wiggled. And then slowly draw one knee into your chest. And then the other. Keeping your eyes closed. Gently come to lay on your right side if that is comfortable for you, otherwise your left side. Cradling your head with your bottom hand, the other hand palm comes to the mat. Take a few more deep breaths here. And keeping your eyes closed, slowly begin to push yourself into an easy seated position. Palms of the hands come to meet at heart center, integrating the left and right side of our brain, our lunar and our solar sides, the active, the passive, creative, the logical. And then begin to rub those hands together, bringing a little heat back into your hands, into your body, stimulating all those energy pathways that are on your hands. And then bringing your hands to stillness, still pressing palm into palm at heart center. Slightly dipping the chin and slowly blinking your eyes open, taking in your mat, taking in the rest of the floor, and slowly raising your head. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this hip and glute strengthener and stretch. And I hope that you took a few moments to think about what your truth is, what your Satya is, what stories you've been telling yourself. Maybe you've been telling yourself you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not rich enough, no one's ever going to love me, I can't do yoga the way she does, or he does. These are all our ego talking to us. These are stories that we tell ourselves. This is not our Satya. So pay attention to what those stories are. Go deep inside, find out what your truth really is. And remember, every day, go inside and find that truth, that calm and peace and bliss is always there and always waiting for you.